Hi, my name is Godswill. I'm the founder of Girls Impact Fellowship. Today I will be talking about the importance of sex education to the girl child. I have been asked repeatedly to talk about this, and I had to take some time to make findings and also look for supporting contents about the subject matter. Alright, let's dive in. Recently, with the rapid growth of information, sex information is everywhere as well. Children are curious about sex. Therefore, parents need to instill correct concepts of sex to their children as early as possible before they are misled by indecent magazines and irresponsible sex scenes on social media. When children grow up, they need to learn and adapt to the various changes that occur, such as physiological and psychological changes in different stages of development. The learning objectives of sex education vary with the age of children and the environment. They need appropriate and continuous counseling and guidance. Parents are the core people who accompany their children as they grow up, so parents are also the most appropriate person to give their children sex education before the society does, which is mostly portrayed in the wrong way. The earlier sex education is given at home, the earlier the children are able to establish correct concepts on sex, and the easier the parents can handle the situation. Sex education is very important as it will help children understand the body structures of men and women and acquire the knowledge about birth, as well as teach children to establish and accept the role and responsibility of their own gender by acquiring the knowledge of sex. Therefore, understanding the differences and similarities between two genders in terms of body and mind will set up a foundation for the future development in their acquaintance with friends and lovers and their interpersonal relationship. Sex education is a kind of holistic education. It teaches an individual about self-acceptance and the attitude and skills of interpersonal relationship. It also helps an individual to cultivate a sense of responsibility towards others as well as oneself. What is sex education? Sex education is the instruction of issues relating to human sexuality, including emotional relations and responsibilities, human sexual anatomy, sexual activity, sexual reproduction, age of consent, reproductive health, reproductive rights, safe sex, birth control and sexual abstinence. Sex education can also be said to be the provision of information about bodily development, sex, sexuality, and relationships, along with skills building to help young people communicate about and make informed decisions regarding sex and their sexual health. John J. Burt defines sex education as the study of the characteristics of beings, a male and female. Such characteristics make up the person's sexuality. Sexuality is an important aspect of the life of a human being, and almost all people, including children, want to know about it. Sex education includes all the educational measures which, regardless of the particular method used, may center on sex. He further said that sex education stands for protection, presentation, extension, improvement, and development of the family based on accepted ethical ideas. Leapson sees sex education as instruction in various physiological, psychological, and sociological aspects of sexual response and reproduction. Carney, 2008, also defined sex education as involving a comprehensive course of action by the school, calculated to bring about the socially desirable attitudes, practices and personal conduct on the part of children and adults, that will best protect the individual as a human and the family as a social institution. Thus, sex education may also be described as sexuality education, which means that it encompasses education about all aspects of sexuality, including information about family planning, reproduction, fertilization, conception, and development of the embryo and fetus, through to childbirth, plus information about all aspects of one's sexuality, including body image, sexual orientation, sexual pleasure, values, decision-making, communication, dating, relationships, sexually transmitted infections, STIs, and how to avoid them, and birth control methods. Sex education should include information about puberty and reproduction, abstinence, contraception and condoms, relationships, sexual violence prevention, body image, gender identity, and sexual orientation. Ways sex education can impact on the girl child. 1. It reduces naivety among the girl child. Through sex education, the girl child is well informed about her sexuality and all it entails. She will not be deceived by the opposite sex who may want to defile her by telling her lies just to satisfy his sexual desires. The girl child through sex education will understand when she's been molested by anyone or told the wrong words about sex. Sex education goes a long way in reducing naivety among the girl child. The girl child is enlightened about her physiological, psychological, and sociological aspects of sexual response and reproduction and cannot be swayed by anyone or talked into going contrary to what she has been taught. 2. Sex education promotes girl-child-mother relationship. The girl-mother relationship is promoted and improved through sex education. It is a common and established fact that many see it as the responsibility of mothers especially to educate the girl child as regards sex and her sexuality. The process of sex education between the girl child and her mother creates some sort of bonding and familiarity between them. It improves their relationship and allows the girl child to be free to discuss anything with the mother, especially regarding her sexuality. Most girl children are assaulted or seen carrying an early pregnancy because of a lack of intimacy and fear to discuss sexuality with the parents, and this is because the mother didn't build any sort of relationship with the girl child or even give her sex education. The girl-mother relationship is crucial in curtailing many sexual vices in today's society. What you do not teach your child, the society, peer group, and social media will. 3. Sex education controls youthful exuberance among girl child. Youthful exuberance has led many to regret, termination of ambition, and even death as the case may be. Wanting to belong to a social group and having a taste of what others have tasted when is not the right time has led many youths to trouble and regret. However, with sex education, youthful exuberance can be controlled and checkmated. Because sex education educates you on everything you need to know about sex, you are no longer inquisitive to know what it is, especially by the opposite sex. Conclusion. Conclusively, sex education should be highly promoted and encouraged in homes, schools, and even religious gatherings. The girl child is at the most risk of sexual assault and molestation by the opposite gender and as such should be educated about sex and her sexuality. Sex education will go a long way in helping to curtail sexual vices in society. Mothers should bring their girl child closer to them, create a beautiful relationship and watch how their girl child will feel free to discuss everything with you, and you will as well give appropriate advice and recommendations where necessary. Thanks for listening. Contact Godswill via +234 0909 365 9739.